Hi dear audience and the students. Today we are going to discuss in this short video that what is the relationship of formalism, new criticism and structuralism and postcolonialism. Actually, this is a question by one of my friend from Morocco, Abdul Razak. He usually used to ask some such interesting questions. So his question is that how the post-colonial writers or the critics or the post-colonial criticisms takes the theory of uh, formalism, new criticism, and structuralism. This is a very interesting question for me. Therefore, my focus of this video is to answer this question. Actually, first, before going to proceed forward, we have to keep in mind that this is a very tricky question which my friend only Abdul Razak can ask, or he might be tracing such relationship with all these theories. He's a very good student and he always asks such tricky questions. So it is very interesting question for me. We used to teach the theories in separations. For example, we teach always teach formalism, and when we are teaching formalism, then we don't consider structuralism. And when we are talking about structuralism, we never talk about of the post-colonialism. But here is an interesting relationship between the formalism, neo-criticism, structuralism, and post-colonialism. So first of all, I take the theory of formalism. Keep in mind that there is no difference between the formalism and the new criticism. Formalism was just a trend of criticism from the classical criticism. Formalism started in Russia, and the same movement with the same tendency and the trend started in America. That was in America, it was named as new criticism, and in Russia it was named as formalism. So there is no significant difference between formalism and the new criticism. So formalism and new criticism are the name of uh, a single movement, one in Russia and other in America. So what was the agenda of are the what questions? What is the duty of the formalist critics and the new critics with the text? Basically, they talk about the literariness and the literary devices and the act of defamiliarization in the text. So, what's make the literature as literary from the formalist perspective that it is the form of that language, it is the form of content which makes the literature as literary. For example, uh, there might be a single reality uh, uh, existing in the social construction, but when you represent that reality in a new, different through the rhymes, through literary devices, through realism, through different literary devices, it means you defamiliarize that reality in a new way that it attracts the attention of the readers or the listeners, then it becomes literature. He is of the view that the act of defamiliarization takes place through literary device. So this was the agenda of formalism. That means in order to create the literariness in the text, we should have to more focused on the literary devices in the form of the literature rather than on the content. So it was more focused on the form rather than on the content. Content might be the same one. This was the agenda of formalism and the new criticism. Then, interestingly, uh, though structuralism is more advanced form from the formalism and the new criticism, now we come to the structuralism. Structuralism was the basically with the intention and the focus that structuralism basically relies on the linguistics. For example, they considers that language is the arbitrary, meaning are not fixed in the words. However, they say that if we study uh, language from its perspective of scientific perspective, then relying on the words we can reach to a minimal or sustainable meaning which might not be complete, but however to some extent we can reach to the meaning. So interestingly, keep in mind, structuralists are of the view that meaning are not in the words. Words are not bound with the meaning. But however, with the perspective of language, by moving on the track of language, we can reach to a conclusion, objectified conclusion, objective meaning. And only on this perspective, post structuralists criticized the structuralists that when the language is arbitrary, meaning are not fixed, then how we can move to a fixed conclusion, how we can move to an objectified meaning. This was the criticism on structuralism. It was a criticism by the post-structuralist on structuralism. So this was about the structuralism. Now, what's the both? Now we come to this our uh, point of discussion, that how post-structuralists, post-colonialists take the theory of formalism, new criticism, and formalism. What's post-colonialism? Post-colonial is basically reaction against that superstructure or the uh, objectified word. As I am talking with these very heavily loaded words, so objectified, loaded, uh, confirmed meaning, and the justified confirmed structures. For example, West always justifies itself as a standard of morality, standard of knowledge, standard of civilization. All that this is basically, uh, you know, static, standardized perspective of understanding. So post-colonialism is basically reaction against all these standards. It's basically challenges the uh, monolithic, universalized, objectified understanding of the West in relation to its East are the others. So, uh, post-colonialists are more like the post-structuralist. Post-structuralists are of the view that there is no single reality. There is no single standardized reality. Same is the case with the post-colonialist. So post-colonialist stands by with the post-structuralist and the deconstructionist. For example, if uh, po- post-colonial basically challenged all these standardized. So uh, post-colonial basically, formalism confirms the objective reality. Formalism confirms a monolithic objectified meaning, literariness, standards, tastes. All these are the agenda of the formalism and the structuralism. While post-colonials questions all these forms, contents, and signified static meaning. By the word signified static meanings, I mean that West create the signified, static meaning. West creates the static realities against its Orients and the others. And the post-colonial critics challenges these static, signified, objectified, and universalized standard of meaning. So this is the difference between uh, structuralism and the post-colonialism. So definitely, it's interesting. I think I made it clear that post-colonialist our post-colonial critics challenge the structuralist understanding of the word and the language. So, with this, I think I made a lot of things clear. If you have any question, you can ask me. I would be answering you.